It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning. Happy Monday morning to you. I am Philip Simon.
And it is certainly a joy for us to be back in your company. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And of course that you're looking forward to a wonderful week. Of course, this is the week, Phil, when everybody is back to work, everybody is back to school. And so any traffic lightness that we enjoyed is now done.
It's now done. I hope people remember what it is that you do to work. It's been so long. But I saw a lot of people walking this morning. You know, the New Year's
Yes,
resolutions are in full swing. So proud of them.
Yeah, man, and I just hope they keep it up. Certainly, health is something that you want to continuously maintain, and I think that's something we've been talking about throughout our shows over the past few years.
Yeah.
Just little steps that you can take each day to improve your health.
Definitely. It's been a theme of ours, no doubt about it. But yesterday, oh man, I need to start that New Year's resolution again, Godfrey. I was in Fox Hill by my Aunt Margaret, and she has this annual New Year's dinner, and
Eat all over again.
I'm still full star.
Okay, well today's a new day, Phil. I mean, I want you to eat because eating is important.
Yeah.
But no more peas and rice. Could you make that promise, like for the rest of the week?
I ain't even gonna lie to you. I just
I'm
for the rest of the week.
trying,
Oh,
for the rest
okay,
of the
yeah, I
week.
can do that.
Because I think, like, okay, if you start
I
this
can do
week
that.
and then you say, okay, next week, maybe it'll be
I
bit
can
by
do
bit.
that. I can
Okay,
do
so
that. I
Phil
can
is
do
the no peas and rice challenge, guys. We are on the no peas and rice challenge for the rest of the week.
6 days, I
I'll
can do
check
that.
in with Phil on Friday, see whether or not he, was able to commit.
Definitely.
I'm also going to call Kaylee and Cameron because they're going to be my spot.
and they probably will, just reveal all the secrets on that.
I'm sure they
But
will.
interesting weekend. We had a couple of funerals as well. I think
Yeah.
both you and I and Godfrey had some funerals over the weekend. Again, want to extend condolences not just to, those families, our families, but also to anybody who would have lost a loved one. I mean, it's never, it's never easy. Death is just so final. We say it all the time. But again, condolences to you. And then,
Yeah.
of course, there were a lot of celebrations as well. There were birthday celebrations.
There were Eagle fan
There were
celebrations.
Eagle celebrations.
Yep, because
There
we
were-
made it.
There were even cowboy fans.
Okay, well, let's not talk about that. Listen, we've got a lot to come on the show for you today. I'm really excited because Phil's going to be talking about WTO. And Phil, I've got some major concerns about WTO. I won't lie to you.
You do?
I really do. Because, one, I still don't fully understand why we're doing this. That's the first thing. The second thing is my concern for industries that have been protected for such a long time, right? The WTO, our ascension to it would mean, for Bahamian consumers, obviously some benefits, like a Walmart might be able to come here. But then what does that do to long-standing families that have had businesses for so long that sell specialized things? And big concerns, our government has always protected certain industries from infiltration. So our lawyers, for example, are protected. Our accountants, for example, are protected. Our engineers are protected. So what happens now when all of these people come in? What happens to the protections, right? We're talking about developing the downtown segment, and we had a special guest on talking about the cruise ports, what they plan to do, and if that comes to pass, it really presents great opportunities for Bahamians to get even more involved in investing in tourism products.
Right,
If WTO opens it up,
Star's got a
then what
lot
does
of
it mean?
questions
Okay,
this
so
morning,
sorry,
but
guys.
listen, the chief negotiator is here.
So you do the
And-
segments. I want you to ask it. 'Cause
I
will be
will.
doing
I
it.
will. I mean, there's two sides to that coin. I mean, I feel the same way, but then.
So find out
Okay,
this
we're
stuff
going
for
to
me.
talk about that.
Yeah.
I will.
Okay,
Shivago
great.
Lang is here this morning,
Okay,
ladies and gentlemen.
great,
We're going to
okay.
talk about
I just
where
have
we are.
concerns.
We have these plans to, at least be finished with the negotiations by the end of this year. We also have the leadership of Rotary. Mario and Felix are here to talk about ways to serve. I mean, it's such a good thing to serve people. I mean, I get excited about when we talk about service, of course.
Good stuff.
And Hubert, I get even more excited when we talk about leadership.
Yes,
So
definitely.
Hubert Edwards is back in the studio. We're talking leadership.
And we also have Jace Enterprises with you. We told you that a lot of people, of course, we saw they're walking, running, getting fit. If one of your New Year's resolutions is to slim down, you're going to love that segment because he's talking about a new weight loss product that he has. So that's going to be pretty good. And in addition to that, we're going to be talking to one of my favorite economists, Rupert Pinder, about the economy, what we ended the year 2018 on, what we can expect from the year 2019. So certainly awesome, good segments. Phil is going to get all of those questions I really want answered for me, and we've got more to come. But first, we're going to take a look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Storm. Good morning, Bahamas. In your first look at weather at sunrise, satellite pictures show little bands of clouds in the southeastern islands, not depicting that weak cold front that's in that area should fizzle out by the next 24 to 48 hours. High pressure will build across the islands week one for the next several days, just ahead of another cold front that should move in here sometime on Wednesday afternoon. In your weather today, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds, sunshine over the northwest Bahamas, some cloudiness over the central and southeastern islands in the vicinity of the frontal boundary, and that'll cause a couple of showers, high temperatures 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, we're looking at a few clouds over northwest Bahamas, partly cloudy over the central and southeastern islands. Chance of a couple of showers, your low temperature going down to 66 degrees Fahrenheit. And some region highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados, 81 and 76. In Jamaica, 79 and 67. In Trinidad, 85 and 74. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 82 and 70. Across North America, Atlanta, 64 and 42. In Raleigh, 61 and 43. In Miami, 76 and 64. Dallas, Texas, 66 and 58. And Toronto, Canada, 29 and 19. Ahead of the cold front, we're looking at some partly sunny skies. On the dry side, temperature daytime will be in the low to mid 80s at daytime, the upper 60s at nighttime. Behind that cold front, it's going to be a dry one, but expect some cooler temperatures. Temperature daytime will be coming Thursday, the mid to upper 70s at daytime, and the mid 60s at nighttime. That puts you up in your first look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Very pleased this morning. Listen, what is life without service, and what is service without talking about Rotary? We're very pleased to have the leadership of the Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas in the studio. Felix Stubbs, a past district governor. That means that he is not just a leader within the Bahamas, but throughout the region. And of course, Mario Smith, the assistant governor for the Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, Happy New Year. So we're talking Rotary, but even more so we're talking service. So before we jump into the whole, concept of what it is that Rotary does, why is this term, why is this so important, a mission and a mandate in our country and probably around the world?
Well, service is bigger than Rotary. In fact, they say that service is the right to pay for a living on this earth. Mm-hmm. And for those of us who practice the Christian faith, the good book says we should look after our brother, be our brother's keeper. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that means being of service to mankind. Yeah. And beyond that, there's also a selfish reason, because when you serve the community, it gives you a good feeling when you go to bed at night. You sleep well, because you know you've done a good deed.
Good deed, no doubt about it. I mean, this has been the one of the missions and mandates of Rotary, but there's more. I mean, there's more than just the word service about self. But when we talk about the mandates and the missions of Rotary, in a nutshell, what is that, Mario?
Well, as Rotarians, we see ourselves as people of action who unite towards a common goal of doing good in the world. And we use our time and our resources to better the community and to create lasting impact in the communities. Mm-hmm. And so one of the objectives is for the application of service to our professional, business, and our personal lives.
Okay. Rotary's been around for a long time, Felix. You weren't there at the very beginning, but you've been in Rotary for for quite a number of years. I mean, how talk about the evolution of Rotary, how it's structured here in the Bahamas. There are various clubs, of course, and how people actually become a part of this.
Yeah, Rotary's been around for 113 years now. It started in Chicago, and it started by one person who wanted to do something give something back to the community. He wanted fellowship, basically. Mm-hmm. And then after fellowship, they decided that once these four guys got together, they had an opportunity to serve their community. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, service became the most important mandate to Rotary. Rotary started in the Bahamas back in 1962, I believe. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think the first club was in Grand Bahama. Okay. Or maybe New Providence, 62. Was Rotary Club of Nassau. Mm-hmm. And then from there it grew. I think now we're about 9 clubs in the Bahamas. including Abaco and Eleuthera, probably just over 400 Rotarians. These are people who dedicate their lives to giving back to the community. But you don't have to be a Rotarian to give back.
Right,
I mean,
right.
you can give service in any way.
Right.
Doing it through Rotary, you have a cadre of people, like-minded people who think like you, who can help to expand what you do, and you have an international resource behind you.
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, an international resort, when we talk about Rotary around the world, I mean, it's just a huge network. But Mario, you are the assistant
Assistant governor.
governor.
Right.
But you also belong to a particular club.
Yes.
Which club is that again?
I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Nassau Sunrise.
Right. So it's not just the whole fellowship thing, and people would see the projects that Rotary does, but there's an internal structure as well to Rotary.
Right.
If you can just speak a little bit to that, because obviously you're on the evolution path to becoming, a district governor, and of course, we haven't said it yet, but our very own Barry Rassen
Correct.
is the head
Correct.
of Rotary International.
So as assistant governor, my job is basically to assist the district governor and to be his representative in his absence.
Okay.
And so one of those factors would entail meeting with the club presidents, ensuring that they set their goals early at the beginning of the year, to evaluate those goals to determine which projects may be viable, which those that may not be, and also to introduce new projects and to determine how we can implement those projects and track those projects throughout the year.
Yeah. I'm not wearing my pin today, and I know that might be a fine, but what always was exciting to me at Rotary, when I was actually in high school, I got to participate in a student exchange to Canada. So, I mean, that was a minute ago, of course. But Rotary's always been involved with young people. But over the years, formally, I mean, it's just taken another step, leaps and bounds. Even in my kids' school, the things that Rotary teaches is now at a different generation level. Speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think Rotary is one of the best kept secrets in the world, I believe. But we're trying to change that, so we're looking more at doing public relations and letting people know what's available to our organization.
Yeah.
And when you talk to young people, sure, we have a program called Rotaract, which is for young people between the ages of 18 to 30. And then you have Interact, which is between 12 and 18. And we also have, it's not a formal program with Rotary, but it's a program that many districts around the world practice called Early Act. But some people call it Early Act, some people call it by different names. But it's for young kids in primary school. And we believe that if we catch them at that younger age, we can help to shape them in terms of their character and their service to community.
Well, that's excellent. I mean, so obviously Rotary goes, I wouldn't want to say from the cradle, but certainly goes from very early on to very late. How can people become a part of Rotary? I mean, people look at Rotarians sometimes and think it's something that is just out of reach, or it's a particular class or a particular type, or but again, the participation in Rotary again spans from youth straight on up.
Right. That's correct. And to become involved in Rotary, it's very easy. You simply have an interest in serving, in community service, and all it takes is just reaching out to one of the clubs, and you can reach us by our website, www.rotarybahamas.com, or through any of our Facebook pages, and you would get a response right away. And once you're invited to a club meeting, after attending a few consecutive meetings, you may then submit an application for membership in the organization.
Yeah.
And that application is reviewed by the board of that club.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. Felix, we'll end with you. Define Rotarian in just a few words.
Any young person or any person in the community who wishes to serve the community, you just have to have a willingness to give of yourself.
Excellent. Excellent. Gentlemen, Felix Stubbs, past District Governor of Rotary, and Mario Smith, Assistant District Governor, Rotary Clubs of the Bahamas. Thank you very much for coming on and sharing a little bit about Rotary. Certainly you can get involved as well, www.rotarybahamas.com. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
2019 will bring risks and opportunities. At BBO 2019, presenters will show you how to reduce those risks and take advantage of the opportunities. Register today. Call 322-1000 or visit tclevents.com. Connecting resources, maximizing opportunities, and transforming the Bahamas.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence, every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want First Response on your side, call 32-FIRST or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First Response can't prevent an accident from happening,
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Well, Phil and I were talking this morning about New Year's resolutions and health goals, and we've certainly seen some people walking around and trying to get back into the habit of getting fit. That can be discouraging sometimes if you're continuing to work out and not seeing the results you need, and that's where supplements come in. We're going to be talking this morning with Mr. Jason DeVoe. He's the president of 4J's Enterprises, and he's got some things that will help you with those weight loss goals as you start the new year. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, Anastasia. My pleasure, and Happy New Year. Also a pleasure to be here.
A pleasure to have you with us. You and I were talking offset, and you were telling me about some of the major weight loss that you've seen as a result of people using your products.
Yes, yes.
So I want to find out first what the products are, and then take a look at those interesting stats that you have. So what is it that we're looking at today?
What we have today, we're presenting our Slim Max Plus line, along with the Belly Fat Burner. We have 4 types of fat burners: Slim Max Control, Slim Max Garcinia, which helps with the appetite suppressant. We have Slim Max Plus, and we have the Belly Fat Burner, along with 2 various types of the detox. We have the Belly Fat Detox, and we have our Slim Max Formula Detox. It's just to give persons variations of choices. They have different ingredients, but they basically will do the same thing. We've mentioned, of course, the statistics, and we brought it to Bahamas at Sunrise, our usual report, that the Bahamas has lost over 300,000 pounds in 2018 as a result of persons taking our supplements. Over the past 9 years, the country would have lost over 1 million pounds. And this is a wonderful product. It's been around for a while. We keep taking it back and just enhancing it. But the process has always been a simple one. 1 pill in the morning for the fat burner, and 1 pill in the evening for the detox.
And so do people take both systems? So for example, you might take a fat burner in the morning and a detox at night?
Yes. We have persons who, those who really want to lose weight, they would take that fat burner, any one of the fat burners in the morning, and then the detox in the evening to act as that cleansing agent to help get rid of the toxins and the waste. And it's very, very important as persons, especially in this day and age, you want to remain as healthy as possible. So weight management is a plus. So we have persons who, even if you don't want to lose weight, we encourage you to detoxify yourself, get rid of those wastes and the toxins, and you can do that through taking one of our formulas.
And I mean, this is interesting because when you take the supplement, are you also going to be controlling the foods that you eat? Because I know sometimes people have a concern that they'll take something and then they're still going to be eating too much.
Yes. Well, we put an ingredient in there that helps to suppress a person's appetite. We have a saying over the years that it doesn't take the taste, but it kills the crave. So you can still enjoy the foods you love, but just in moderate portions. And eventually your system will now gravitate to eating less and less, which is a part of dieting 101. And then, of course, whatever you already have in your system as stored fat, the supplements, the ingredients in the supplement will help to break that down. As a result of sometimes eating less, people seem to find themselves more fatigued or tired quicker. And so we've added an ingredient in there that helps to give you that natural energy boost as well. And so again, like we said, it's just a variation on the product so that persons can choose whichever one they like that will basically work with their system.
Now, is this something that you would be on, say, for a full year, 2 years, or something that you just take whenever you feel like it? Do you have a time frame on how often you take the pill?
There's no particular time frame. We tell persons once they would have accomplished their goal. We've had persons on 1 month. We've had persons on 3 months because, as you know, everyone has different body types, metabolisms. And of course, people have different goal settings.
Okay.
I want to lose 100 pounds, 20 pounds, and it works differently with them, but it will work.
So I'm excited about this because you
Thank
say
you.
you've been in the Bahamas for about 9 years, and you guys aren't only in Nassau, right? And I
No.
love when people come on the show and it's about the Bahamas, because this is
Yes.
Bahamas at Sunrise.
Yes.
What are the other islands that people can find your products in?
We're presently, we just came out of Eleuthera.
Okay.
We have stores already set up there. We're in Abaco, Freeport, Exuma. We have also Bimini on the map. We have also Spanish Wells, Harbor Island. So if there's one of the keys, one of the islands persons want it, they know that they can call us. We ship it out for them.
Okay.
And so there are quite a few retail outlets that would be providing it.
Okay, and then you're in several stores across New Providence.
Several stores. All the pharmacies, medi-centers, beauty supply stores. We're in quite a few. Persons can look for our signs.
Okay.
You can see the sign Slim Max Plus Bahamas. It will very well blend into the program that we have offering now as well for this month.
And I want to find out more about that program because you have something special happening for the new year.
Very special, very special. Persons who knew 4Js, they know that we always like to start off with a bang. What we're doing now is we're asking persons, when you go to get your supplement at any of our retail outlets, you're going to get a free bottle of detox as well.
Okay.
Okay. It's a week supply of our belly fat detox.
Okay.
And like I said, everyone can basically use one of those. And so as we encourage weight loss, weight management, go ahead to your retail outlet, go to your special store, and they will be equipped with a free detox bottle to give you with any purchase that you get.
All right. I mean, that's exciting stuff. And we've talked so many times on the show about things like diabetes, hypertension.
Yes.
And belly fat actually contributes significantly to your chances of having
Definitely
those.
it does. Definitely
And so
it
certainly this is an opportunity for people to get rid of those things that could lead to disease later on. So,
Weight management is so tied into every other health concern, every other health issue that you have. When you regulate your weight, practically, you'd find that cholesterol issues are better, your hypertensive issues are better. All of these things are connected to it. And we implore persons, visit your doctors, make certain you can take it. We ask you to, there's no particular system you have to, but we say eat better, you can work out, get moderate rest,
Okay.
take our supplements, and you're on your way to a healthier lifestyle.
Well, listen, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mr. DeVoe. Certainly a wonderful opportunity to get that
Definitely.
happy New Year, healthy New Year start. You get those free detox pills when you purchase any one of these amazing products here from Slim Max. And of course, you can get those weight loss goals started early. Thanks again for
Definitely.
joining us.
Our pleasure.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise, hoping to encourage you to get fit and healthy this year. And we're going to be right back after this commercial break.
My name is Regilio Bethel. My position on board Equinox is mate, relief captain. I must say that during our travels and journeys throughout the Exuma Keys, we've had a few dark or dead spots. Basically, there was no service. They were just dark spots. We would basically be dead ship out in the cold without any communication. And it's been like that for years, and we've gotten used to it. But life has now provided us with a service which we can stay communicated during our entire voyages. And I've been waiting for Life to bring their service up to more coverage throughout the Bahamas, which they've done in an amazing amount of time. So yeah, I would encourage them all to get that service. It's an awesome service, no interruptions, and it's awesome.
Quaker Oats, old-fashioned and quick. Now $3.79 at Solomon's.
WTO memberships will bring benefits to the Bahamas. These benefits include increased economic growth and development, increased opportunities for Bahamian exports, higher employment, better income for Bahamian workers, lower cost of living for Bahamian consumers, increased choices for Bahamian consumers, modernization in government services, and better relations with trade partners. These benefits, combined with progressive planning and execution by our private and public sectors, will produce a better life for Bahamians.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Author Lewis Carroll once said, if you don't know Where you are going, any road will take you there. Poignant and powerful words indeed. Today we are speaking about vision, life goals, and direction with Hubert Edwards, a resident leadership professional here on Bahamas at Sunrise. He's the founder of Hubert Edwards Global and Marketing Consultant, Next Level Solutions. Hubert, welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Certainly a pleasure to be here. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year to you as well. I want to make sure I say this right, but you wrote once in many of your articles and writings, the universe cannot help us more than the extent to which we are committed to a thing.
Yes.
You sound like Arthur Carroll there, but you know, explain that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, I try my hand from time to time at a little bit of writing. It's a reality. Mm-hmm. The universe is responding to you, mm-hmm. and it's a recognition that if you want to achieve things, if you want to do great things in life, whatever it is that you wish to achieve, you must first move. And so the extent to which we sometimes come up with these ideas and we dream and we wish, mm-hmm. and then we lay down back and say, well, you know, something is going to happen. That is not true. The commitment comes in form of how hard are you willing to work for it? How hard are you willing to sacrifice? Because in life, the saying goes, there's no free lunch. The fact of the matter is that persons you see who have made major achievement, there are moments when they're sacrificing, there are moments when they're struggling, there are moments when they're in this place by themselves, alone, trying to move from one very small place to the next. I saw a very powerful photograph recently, and it is of the guy who owns Amazon. And he was literally sitting in a corner with a table and the word Amazon on the side by him. And what that was saying was simply this. Look, he was serious about creating this big organization that we now know, but at that point in time, for the most part, it was just a dream, but his commitment was real. He was doing the small things that he could at that moment to become, to realize the big organization that he wanted, to realize his dream.
Wow, so you're telling us this morning we just can't wait on the football.
No, no. It's really about getting to a place where you set a vision for yourself. Mm-hmm. You create real goals. You create a direction. Mm-hmm. And what is important, Phil, is simply this. Many times we decide that we are going to set out to achieve things. Mm-hmm. And as you know, you dream between point A and point B. Right. But really achieving it is always, you have to go point A to B and C, mm-hmm. and it's a zigzag. At the end of the day, you don't always need to know how you're going to get there. Mm-hmm. What is important is that you know where you're going.
Well, you talk about being conscious, and then there's this word that you hear also in church as well, but being intentional.
Yes.
You know, so that means it's just not being reactionary.
No, no. Obviously, a level of consciousness and awareness is always important in doing things and in achieving things. Mm-hmm. The consciousness that we always talk about is understanding that once you start, right, there is a momentum which will be created. Once you start, there are individuals who will come by. I tell you a quick story. Once I was going up Bay Street, you know, Bay Street is going east, and there was this gentleman, and he was walking west, trying to catch a ride on East Bay Street. What that said to me in that moment was, this guy is absolutely not committed to his direction. Because if you were trying to reach east, at least walk in that direction. Because guess what? If I let's say I wasn't going to pick you up in my car, I had to pick you up physically. How much more so would I be willing to give you that lift if I know I only had to take you a short distance? Right. And so we have to get to the place where we start to understand that moving in the direction of your dreams, moving in the direction of your goals and your ideas is absolutely important. You can't just sit back and be wishing and dreaming for things to happen. Until you get out there and start doing, nothing is going to be realized.
Well, you talk about establishing, you know, major goals in your life, and not just always being in a mode of survival, but sometimes it's difficult to kind of get out of that present or that everyday or even that survival mode. What do you say to people who may be living like that from day to day, but yet you're saying, listen, man, you got to stop. You got to establish some goals, some major goals in life.
You must. And when I wrote that, Phil, I wrote that from a place of knowing. I grew up in an environment, I grew up in a place where it was very little. It was always a struggle to have, daily clothes, food, daily, every single minute of that moment. And I realized, having come out of that and being exposed, that if in those moments I had the ability to dream a little bit bigger, to be pushed to be encouraged, it would have been better. So I would say to individuals, regardless of where you are, start thinking about your environment, not just in your physical space, but the environment between your two ears.
Even if you haven't figured it all out?
Even if you haven't figured it all out, this is one of them cases where you build in flight. Just start making one small step and something is going to happen. The fact that we're here today having this conversation must have been as a result of someone saying something and doing something. So don't think that you have to have it all figured out, because in this world of success, it's not about completion, it's not about perfection, it's really about progress. So you have to start taking one step at a time.
And when we talk about that, I mean, you said it just now, environments. I mean, changing environments is just so critical, because you will become exactly where you are.
Yes.
But let's talk really briefly as we close about the importance of exposure.
Exposure is absolutely, absolutely important. For example, a young man getting a scholarship, a smart young man getting a scholarship, he needs to be around individuals who can point him to that. But when you step out into the world, when you step out into the world of books, when you step out into the world of YouTube, when you step out into the world of connecting with individuals like Phil, connecting with individuals who have been there before, who have the experience, it's a wonderful thing. So you want to put yourself in a place where you can be exposed to new things, new ideas. You can expand and enlarge your own vision. And when you start to doing that, the world takes on a different mood. It takes on a new energy, if you will. And that's when you start to increase your awareness and increase your consciousness. And once you get to that place, things start to look different. They start to look more possible.
Absolutely. Well, I remember Sir Sidney Poitier once spoke to us when we were in junior achievement many years ago, and he said, the more you read, the more you know, the more you know, the further you go. So that exposure and reading is just equally as important. We've been with Hubert Edwards, the founder of Hubert Edwards Global and Managing Consultant, Next Level Solutions. This is a first step in our leadership series. Hopefully we'll have him back many times this year.
Definitely.
Hubert,
Look forward to being here.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Shell wants to take you on a journey with its Christmas extravaganza. Enter to win over $30,000 in cash and prizes, including $10,000 in cold hard cash. Also, many participants will have their electricity bills paid off, VIP tickets to see Fergie live, and much more. Make a fuel purchase of $20 or more. Fill out an entry form. Take a photo of your receipt for additional chances to win on social media. Winners will be announced live on radio. So pull into Shell Station today and fuel up to win.
I always wanted to come back to the College of Bahamas. I wanted to be a faculty. When the opportunity came for me to be Vice President of Operations, I said, well, let me try that first. It makes me proud because I was here before. I feel as if now I'm sort of like a beacon for those students who are here to say, hey, listen, I can actually be a Vice President. I can actually be one of the big leaders at the university. I'm Ronnie Stevenson, and this is my UB.
Apply today at www.ub.edu.bs.
Wait, that's Omar Little from The Wire. You think everyone is Omar from The Wire?
Wow, it's really nice to meet a fan.
It's like he's right here.
Are you telling me he was being all type shows and stuff?
And you know, Rev Go Play plays a lot of good movies and TV shows.
Excuse me, can't you see we're watching something else?
Rude.
Settle all your pop culture disputes with Rev Go Play. Watch, record, and stream all your favorite shows wherever you are. Free for all Rev TV subscribers. Rev, you and us together.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point on this Monday show. We hope that you've been enjoying it so far.
Well, I have. I mean, I love these conversations. Always love the conversations with Hubert Edwards. I mean, talking about things that are important. I mean, leadership, visioning, even though I was kind of saying it in jest last week, but, setting goals and pursuing them, even if it's every single day. So Good stuff with him.
Good stuff. I talked about Slim Max, and it was good.
Good.
They lost
You got your stuff?
about 300,000 pounds last year.
Wow.
Yeah, and they've lost $1 million in 9 years.
Wow.
Using their products here in the Bahamas. So yeah, quite an interesting supplement that they've got going on.
Well, what that tells me is there's a lot of pounds out there.
Yeah, but there are though. We know this. We know this, Phil. We are one of the most overweight societies.
Yeah, that's right. We've been talking about
so,
it. We've been talking about it.
We laugh, but it's a serious thing.
Somebody in the background tapping, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we all could use a little work on our stomachs, I would think. And certainly we know that like stomach fat leads to things like diabetes and hypertension. And so, yeah, I mean, quite interesting stuff. But it's a start, and I think that all we can do is continue to keep encouraging people. Just take a step, day by day.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's working. I mean, got quite a bit of persons who, testify, about the success of what Jason knows have been able to do.
Yeah.
But we've got more to come. Minister is here.
We do. We've got
Chivago is upstairs. He's waiting to. I will try to get to all of your questions, Star, but he's watching right now in the lobby. So, what's the most important question you want me to ask him?
Why are we doing this? And seriously, and how are we protecting those industries that have always enjoyed protections from competitors? I think that those are two critical questions.
Well, I will forward you the nice, he's going to answer that, but there was a nice article on December 31st where he kind of spoke to that. I mean, the goal is to maintain as much of what we have as possible because it's not, we're not being forced to do anything. It's a negotiation.
And we also have Rupert Pinder coming up in the second half. He's going to be talking to us about the economy last year. So we've got all of that ahead for you and more. But first, we're going to take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at sunrise. Brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star, and good morning, Bahamas. Yes, second look at weather at sunrise. Satellite picture shows that we have a little streak of clouds across the southeastern islands. That depicts that cold front, and so we can have some cloudiness with a couple of showers in the central and southeastern islands. High pressure today. In the marine forecast, winds today blowing northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet, over the northwest and central Bahamas. Those winds falling light and variable at times. 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet, over the southeastern islands. On Tuesday, those winds to east at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet, over the northwest and central Bahamas. Continuing 15 knots, sea 3 to 5 feet, over the southeastern islands. Then on Wednesday, heavy to cold front, variable at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet over northwest and central Bahamas. After final passes, those winds will start increasing 15-20 knots, seas building 4 to 6 feet over the northwest and central islands. East to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the southeastern islands. Yeah, tides. You can expect a high tide at 8:31 this morning. Next low tide will be at 3 p.m. this afternoon. High again tonight at 8:48. Sunset at 5:34 this evening. Rises more at 6:56. UV index 7. Your water temperature 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase, no moon. External look, partly sunny skies into Wednesday. Expect some increasing cloudiness. Not much of a shower activity, 1 or 2 brief showers passing as that dry front moves through the islands. Behind that cold front, some cooler temperatures. Ahead of the cold front, those temperatures will be in the mid-80s at daytime, in the upper 60s at nighttime. After final passes, those temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s at daytime, and the low to mid-60s at nighttime. That's what you're up in your phone. Look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Sometimes in order to move forward, we have to take a look back. And as we talk about New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals, certainly we hope that our government has set some for us. And we hope that all of them will result in a more positive economy. We're going to be taking a look back at 2018 and seeing whether or not what we've done in 2018 has set us forward on the right path for 2019. And there was only one person we could have that conversation with. So we're very happy to welcome economist Rupert Pinder back to Bahamas at Sunrise to discuss. Good morning, Rupert, and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
A pleasure to have you with us as always.
Thank you.
And we want to get started right away by talking about energy. There was a global oil spike last year. We had the fires at BPL, and people were complaining about the increase in surcharges that they saw on their bills. How significant do you think this was for last year's economic outlook?
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, we have to look in terms of how that impact prices, because I think everybody focused a lot in terms of how the increase in energy costs or as payments call it, light bill, in terms of how it affects residential subscribers. But I think very few people really look in terms of how it impacts businesses. And the businesses, obviously, to the extent to which this increase in electricity costs represents a cost to them, and somehow this cost has to be recovered. And the only way that this can be recovered is really in the form of higher prices.
Right.
And so we have to be conscious of the fact in terms of how we seek to bring down electricity costs, in terms of how this really impacts consumers, not just in terms of the price of electricity, but the price of everyday goods and services.
Okay, and how do you think finances, will it be finances or the business community's cries about this that drives energy reform in the Bahamas? What do you think is going to be that catalyst that really drives the energy reform change?
Well, one of the things here is that, we've heard in the past, we've lost some investors due to the high energy costs. And I think one of the things, from a policy perspective, I think we cannot ignore the fact in terms of how high energy costs can be a disincentive for foreign direct investment. And we all know, regardless in terms of the views on foreign direct investment, that is really the driver of this small open economy. And so we have to look in terms of how this in effect, not just in terms of foreign direct investment, but also in terms of domestic investment. And this, for example, when you have businesses that can tell you that their electricity cost exceeds their overall payroll costs, and you have a problem here. Particularly when you're looking in terms of making a significant dent in the unemployment numbers, to the extent to which a business has to make a decision whether or not they hire an additional employee, or whether or not they have to find ways in terms of covering this month's electricity costs.
Wow, those are some serious dynamics there when you consider it like that. And so certainly something that we want to continue to focus on. You mentioned foreign direct investment, and we certainly know that that's played a major part in our tourism sector. And tourism over the last year has seen an upswing. We've seen more stopover visitors, certainly had larger numbers in that industry overall. How important was that upswing to a better overall economy this year?
Well, one of the things here is that, and I think one of the things we always have to take note of, and that is the fact that in some cases we are catching up in terms of some of the pre-recession levels, right? So, for example, during the financial crisis, I think in terms of 2008, we saw a downward turn in terms of room inventories, etc. And so in some cases, we are rebounding in terms of that. We also saw in terms of the Bahamas opening and what that has meant. But what is also interesting to notice is that while this expansion is taking place, albeit, and I think we are obviously recovering from some of those pre-recession levels, we would have seen over the holiday season in terms of some of the constraints that we would have had in terms of national and international airports. Some of the reports in terms of the ability to ensure in terms of being able to process flights, etc., and so on and so forth. So while all this expansion is taking place, we also have to ensure from a process standpoint that we have all of the structures in place to support a lot of this expansion.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And certainly many challenges with flights over the holiday period, and that wouldn't bode well for people returning if they have a negative experience going in or coming out. And so Bahamas, in this instance, you think has contributed rather than having taken away, or for example, sharing the same numbers of guests over?
And that's a very interesting point, because I think one of the concerns with the Bahamas opening was really the concern to the extent to which it would have cannibalized Atlantis. In other words, take away some of the revenues of visitors from Atlantis. And again, I haven't been following the numbers that closely, but certainly to the extent to which the Ministry of Tourism is reporting an overall increase in visitor arrivals, this suggests that the cannibalization is not the concern in terms of initially thought.
Excellent. So when we look back, we look at 2018 overall, we look at the challenges we faced with downgrades, upgrades overall. Was 2018 a good year for the economy or a bad year?
I would say, in my view, I think it was a mixed bag. In my view, I think to some extent, I think we are still very conscious in terms of, on the fiscal side, in terms of some of the cost-cutting measures, obviously to address the budget deficit, and I think to the extent to which we haven't made some of the strides I think we need to make in terms of the unemployment numbers. I think growth is still a challenge, notwithstanding the fact that economic growth, that is, notwithstanding the fact that the IMF and some of the agencies are reporting that they expect a better outlook for 2019. I mean, that still remains a challenge. And to the extent to which, and I see some of the merchants are saying that they've had marginally a better 2018 Christmas compared to 2017.
Excellent.
So again, the question is that whether some of these trends will continue into 2019.
Yeah. So I take a look at countries like Barbados, and certainly I get a little scared. I don't know if scared is the right word, but concerned that we're making the right choices to not go in that direction, because we know that our Caribbean brothers and sisters, many of them having had many of the challenges we faced, bad additions, etc., and then having challenges from that in the economy and not doing very well. What are those steps that we need to be taking proactively as a government and as a nation to ensure that we, as best we can, with the factors that we can control, are securing our future?
You know, one of the things here, I think we've been blessed to the extent to which this country lies just a few miles off the world's largest consuming market in terms of the United States. And I think one of the things that gives us a comparative advantage, and pretty much you can call it a natural advantage compared to a lot of other countries in the Caribbean, is by way of our location. And in my view, I don't think that we have fully exploited that. Right? I mean, I think we exist right there between Latin America and again in terms of North America, and just in terms of a shipping lane. I don't know to what extent, I mean, we know that we have a transshipment point in terms of Freeport, but the extent to which we can also perhaps expand this to other islands within the Bahamas. I mean, to the extent to which you have, for example, the Asian Pacific countries that are looking to do business with the North and with the Western Hemisphere, to the extent to which the Bahamas can serve as that point. Our location obviously gives us, I think, lots of advantages that we're yet to fully exploit. The other thing about it too is that we also have a very low population density. We have a lot of land per unit of the population, and again, I think that that's something that we need to fully exploit. But certainly, I think we need to continue to focus on economic growth. We need to look in terms of how we reform our country, and not just in a piecemeal fashion. I think some of the trends in terms of the OECD blacklisting, etc., and the European Union in terms of our financial services sector, all of this suggests that we need to look in terms of alternative, and we need to seriously look in terms of policy reform going forward.
Policy reform, and our next segment is on the WTO, so it's interesting that you'd bring that up right as we segue into that. But thank you so much for joining us this morning, Rupert. Always look forward to this conversation that I have with you, and hoping that you'll join us again another time.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
I'm Jennifer Basden, Group Sales and Marketing Manager for Bahamas Air, and it's my pleasure to invite you to experience Houston. From out-of-the-world excitement at Space Center's Houston, the gateway to NASA's mission control, to the over 10,000 restaurants representing cuisine from more than 70 countries. Houston has it all. Come, experience Houston with direct service on Bahamas Air. For more information on flight and packages, visit bahamasair.com.
Colgate toothpaste, 6-ounce twin pack, now $4.89 at Solomon's.
So who really own the Nassau container port? Boss, that's easy. The government. I do.
I do.
Thank you.
I do.
I do. And one day, he will too.
I do. Knock knock.
Here at the Nassau Container Port, we've diversified our ownership to give hardworking Bahamians a piece of the economic pie. And we'll continue to grow so that we can give you a consistent return on your investment. That's our promise.
To make informed decisions in 2019, you will need current facts and expert analysis. Find both at BBO 2019. Register today. Call 322-1000 or visit tclevents.com. Connecting resources, maximizing opportunities, and transforming the Bahamas.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise, WTO, World Trade Organization. It's a topic, it's a theme that we've been talking about now, not just this year, but for many, many years. Very pleased to be joined again this morning by the Chief Negotiator for the Bahamas Working Party Committee, Shivago Lang. I almost went to say minister again, but of course you are still.
You'll be forgiven.
Always will remain a minister to me. Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good to be here.
And listen, the question was asked during the mid-show, and you said, listen, man, bring Star on. Let her come and ask herself. So we've got Star as well joining us in this segment. Let's start off. Maybe there's an announcement. I don't know if there's an announcement.
No, you ask, you go.
Okay, well, let's talk. Let's start with Star's question. Star.
Yeah, so well, you love me saying minister. Mr. Lang, certainly these negotiations have been, we've heard this word so many times before, but now more than ever there's this sense that this thing is actually going to happen.
Right.
And people are concerned about that because they wonder if there's some social or international pressure forcing us into the WTO, and then why is it that it's necessary for us to, one, do it, and two, do it now?
Well, interestingly enough, I took that application form to Geneva in 2001.
Okay.
That's 18 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was somebody who was socially pressuring us, boy, they must be pretty weak. For 18 years, the best they could do is have us drag along. Now, there's no social pressure. In fact, what happened is the government, this new administration, and I think it's best to say, the Ingram administration took this up.
Mm-hmm.
The Christie administration continued it.
Mm-hmm.
The Ingram administration continued it.
Mm-hmm.
The Christie administration continued it. And so this new administration looked at the timetable for the ministers of trade. They're the ones who actually make the determination about your joining.
Mm-hmm.
And their next meeting was scheduled to be the end of this year.
Okay.
And so they said, well, let's see if we could get this done by the end of this year so that we could be a part of that meeting. Well, that meeting's been pushed off to next year.
Mm-hmm.
June sometime. And that was what created the sense that, oh, why are you doing it urgently? No, they were just trying to meet a ministers of trade meeting for the WTO. That's the highest decision-making body of the WTO. Why do it? You do it to get more of what has made you one of the third most prosperous countries in the Americas, having a trading environment that is internationally impactful. Tourism, financial services, even your wholesale and retail trade could not be what it is without the openness of your suppliers here to buy abroad.
Okay.
So you join the WTO, it gives many more investors the certainty of how you do things, that there's an openness about it, that there's a transparency about it, so you become more attractive for investors. So that's one thing, and that almost every acceding country has tended to see some level of growth, 2 percentage point growth on average, after acceding for about 5 years. And even if the growth stops, the economy never shrinks below that 20% increase that it gains over the period. And so you want the growth. We need the growth. The other thing that benefits is in a WTO environment, the average rate of tariffs is reduced. Well, who's that going to benefit? That's going to benefit Bahamian businesses who now have to pay an average of 30% on everything they bring into the country before they sell a single unit. And so they're going to be able to take the savings from that capital that they expend up front and use it for other purposes. They may expand their businesses or whatever. They may employ new staff. Then Bahamian consumers can get the benefit of those savings if you have lower duties on average. Some people say, well, how are you going to ensure that? Well, I say this. If the government engages somebody to track the prices of the things on which the duties are reduced, then they are able to announce to people, I'm not getting the benefit of this duty, and therefore they may make other decisions about how to deal with that. You also get the benefit of a modernized set of legislative environment, legislative tools to do business. For instance, intellectual property rights legislation strengthening is important for innovation. You get competition policy strengthening. That's important for consumers to get lower, better prices. And so you get a more modernized environment to do things. Additionally, and this is what Bahamians tend to miss, right now Bamboo Shack, Bahama Grill are companies, Bahamian companies in the U.S. So is Golden Cross, a Jamaican company. Golden Cross, by obligation of the WTO, since Jamaica and the U.S. are in the WTO, can get the benefit of most favored nation status, national treatment, because they are both in the WTO. Bamboo Shack and Bahama Grill has no such obligation by America. It doesn't matter now. It may not matter now, but one day it may matter. And you know what they always say about unions? Better to have one and not need one than to need one and not have one.
Well, I'll tell you what. 18 years later, and there's still this sense of why, or this fear.
Anxiety, yeah.
What do you think is driving that?
It's a number of things. I mean, let's be clear. WTO, IMF, World Bank, United Nations, these global governance institutions have issues. I mean, and people have globally seen them with some suspicion, and so that's understandable. They are imperfect, but you know, a world absent them is not a world I can tell you I want to live in.
Okay.
Making them better is a world I would like to live in, and so I can understand people's anxieties about them. Also, there's lots of people who don't know. I mean, listen, I've been studying international trade and economics for years. There are many, many things about international trade and economics that I still have yet to learn. If you're an average citizen, you're not taking up with this, you're doing your business, etc. You have issues because you don't necessarily know. I understand that. There are the agreements, there are about 60 agreements that govern the WTO. They have not 20,000 pages, as some people say, 500 pages. Not everybody's going to take time to read all of that, study that up, etc. So you have that. And then you have lots of misinformation out there. You have people telling people there's free movement of labor, that kind of stuff, which is untrue. And so people soak that up, and so you have fairs driving some of this.
One of the fears I do know that people have is that we've had protected industries for some time. We take a look at our legal services, very protected. I know engineers, for example, you have to have a local engineer, you know, and so there are certain industries that have benefited greatly from insulation. What are those protections going to look like post-negotiations?
Well, you see, this is the excellent question. This is the point of the negotiations. The negotiations say, you sit with counterparts and say, listen, I'm going to join this thing, but brethren, I'm not going to open this area up, and if I open it up, I open it up only to this extent. And you negotiate these things with the sectors themselves having led you to the points of negotiations. So we're sitting with the lawyers, and the lawyers will say to us, listen, we could take perhaps international companies setting up here to do international law, not to do Bahamian law, not to practice, to do the things we can do. And they might have an issue of, okay, well, how do we enforce that? Well, we have to work through that. But they're not saying, no, we're not going to do anything. They're saying, here's a way we can negotiate it. Similarly, with other industries, they can say to us, you know what, we can take this lowering of duties, but not any further. And that becomes our negotiating point. And I think we have some leverage with the WTO now, because I think, one, they want this to happen because they need the boost for their own reputations. And then secondly, the Bahamas has already been a fairly open economy. And so it's not as if we're coming in so close that we have huge concessions to make. And so I think that we can do minimal amounts of adjustment and still get the gains of being a WTO member. But that's the negotiations. We won't know until we're finished. And so once we're done, we can look at it and go, yes, we can live with that, or no, we can't live with that, and make up our minds what we're going to do.
Okay. All right, well, excellent. So we are obviously committed to the process. I believe I would have read that the next working party meeting would now be towards the end
sometime in February.
Just explain to us, you know, what's the remainder of the process, where we are now and what's the remainder of the process.
And I'm going to tell you, make an announcement to you today, because I think I made a commitment when I became chief negotiator that I wanted to, one, walk hand in hand with the sectors. They're the ones who trade in this process. And two, to be as transparent with the Bahamian public as possible. So the offer we have on the table today and the responses we got to those offers In the next couple of days, we will be releasing to the public of the Bahamas. You get to see them yourself. You'll get to see every item of, every detail of every item that we have said to these people we're prepared to do, not to do. And they'll be able to see for themselves what's happening. But where we are now is we now have to respond to the request made to our initial offer.
Okay.
And so we're meeting with the sectors so that we can say to them, listen, this is what the U.S. has asked us to do in respect to your sector.
Mm-hmm.
What can we agree is doable? And then we will provide a new offer on the basis of our consultations with the industry. And I think people will, if you read the details carefully, people will be surprised. They'll be like, this is what we're doing? This is what it's about?
Yeah.
I think they'll be a little surprised.
Well, excellent. Shivago, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
On Bahamas at Sunrise.
My pleasure.
We'll be sure to give Star your cell number just in case there remains some.
She has to come on my show.
Very good, very good. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We've been with the Chief Negotiator for the Bahamas, Shivago Lang, WTO Ascension Process. We'll be right back.
How are we making Rev work wonders for you? We are doing it together. You told us what you want, and we've heard you. Want faster broadband? How about speeds up to 1 gigabit per second? Want shorter house calls? 2 hours max. We promise. Want to take your entertainment anywhere? Well, your Rev Go Play app is here. Rev, we've heard you. You speak, we listen. Rev, you and us together.
One thing, two things. Blue thing, whole things. Things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. Certainly an excellent one filled with information, education.
Yeah, information, education, and more questions.
Yeah.
More questions. We've got a ways to go, but obviously, as he's just announced, they're going to be very transparent.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to let us know exactly what's happening when it's happening. We don't have to wait until the end of a process. This is a WTO.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's going to create more interaction.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we can't move forward if we continue to, have unjustified fear.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that we need to be open to learning new information and then open to joining those organizations that represent us, right? Because so many people have concerns, but they've not aligned themselves professionally with organizations that can represent them. So this is when I throw in a plug for the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and the CPA Association, all those things that really try to make these negotiations on your behalf. So get involved, and of course we're going to be back with more information for you on Friday. Make it a wonderful week.
See you then. Bye.